and then you tell us about your weekend. Weekend, exactly, I'll let it run. You just tell us something about your weekend. Why weekend? Was it nice? It was nice. Nice. Welcome to Hibert Performance. Today we want to introduce the Autotuner tool. This is the tool we use the most. It is the most used here in the workshop, apart from the other tools, simply because it is the simplest to handle. In my opinion, it is the most reliable. It is simply the best in terms of handling. In my opinion, also in the long term, the most affordable product you can buy in this category. This is simply because we don't have any subscription, so no annual fees, as is the case with other manufacturers everywhere. With other manufacturers, you pay 700, 800 euros annually, update fees. This is not the case with Autotuner. You have no additional fees that accrue. For this reason alone, it is a unique selling point and also the most affordable product available on the market. Apart from being the most affordable product, it is also, in my opinion, the best product. There are no additional charges for TCU, ECU, meaning engine control units, transmission control units, bench, boot, or OBD, which is where you, for example, differentiate with Alien Tech, Casio 3, or with Flex, Magic Motorsport. Accordingly, it is a package there, and you have everything included, unlike the others, as already mentioned. Why the Autotuner tool, in my opinion, is the best tool for us in our use is simply because Autotuner is quite strong when it comes to newer cars. In contrast to the Casper 3, for example, which is strong with older vehicles, all the 1.8 turbos, the 1.9 diesels, you could do those with a Casper 3 or something similar, but Autotuner, for example, can't handle those as well. They are the older vehicles like the 1.8T and the 1.9TD in beta, and that's why they are not as strong with Autotuner. So, for example, Autotuner, but it can't read many 1.8Ts. On the other hand, Autotuner can handle many other cars that Casper 3, for example, cannot, especially when it comes to newer vehicles. The basic requirements for the operating system or a computer for such a flasher are that you have Windows, because, for example, iOS is not supported by Autotuner, and the minimum requirements like processor, hard drive, memory, and so on are not really high. So a very normal, simple laptop with Windows 7, for example, would be completely sufficient. The customer support from Autotuner is also quite prompt if you have any problems when reading or writing a vehicle. You just write the support ticket and usually you get a response within a few minutes. What I personally like best about Autotuner, some might say, okay, you're lazy, but the Autotuner is very strong when it comes to OBD reading. With other tools, I've noticed that you have to remove a lot of engine control units, which is not the case with Autotuner. The Autotuner supports a very large number virtual reads. Unlike Magic Motorsport, for example, it has fewer. That's at least my personal feeling. The only disadvantages I can think of with the Autotuner are that you always need an internet connection, but that's the case with all flash tools these days, and that we haven't supported older vehicles as well. But again, I have to say that not every tool can do everything, and every tool has its advantages and disadvantages. In a certain way, that might actually be a good thing for the manufacturers, but not for us. What you can also do very easily with the tool is flash cars back to stock through the virtual reads. This means that because there are so many virtual reads available, you can also easily use the tool for vehicles. Simply flash the original without having to own the original yourself. We have two red inputs on the device, one for the OBD input and one for the bench and boot input. On the other side we find the network connection. We need this when we want to read via bench or boot. The device requires a 12-volt connection. Since we don't get this from the vehicle, we have to add it ourselves. You'll also find the power supply for this inside here. So that would be the power supply. Then we have here a USB connection and I'm not reading it out loud, I'll read it wrong anyway. Ethernet, that's correct. Right, yes. Okay. Then we also have status lights here. This indicates when we have a 12 volt connection, when we are properly connected to the PC, and when the USB is properly inserted. Then we also get a small Autotuner here, USB to stick. The software for the Autotuner tool is on it. Personally, I would get the software from the homepage, so the software for the tool to operate it. You need to download it separately onto your laptop, and then you can operate the tool. We also have an OBD cable included. We simply connect that to the OBD port, and then we also have a bench cable. The orange cable is for older engine control units like EDC16. I believe ME 7.5 would also be the choice there. So you would use that. I'm just thinking about which other control units can be done with it. But do we realize now? Not immediately. If we already have EDC17 or such control units, then we use the black cable. The black cable is also inserted here into the bench boot port, plugged in, and the EDC16 cable, strangely enough, for whatever reason, is plugged in via the OBD port. That is coded, so you really can't make any mistakes. By the way, we also have a small needle here, which is for booting. Unfortunately, we don't have more items for booting. That's why I would... If you want to boot upgrade, I hope you enjoyed the video regarding the Autotuner tool. My personal recommendation always clearly goes to Autotuner. All the other flash tools like XDrive, Flex, CMD, etc. also do their job. Every tool has its advantages and disadvantages. My personal opinion recommendation clearly goes to Autotuner. For everyone who hasn't seen the Nash Force video yet, feel free to check out our YouTube channel.